Throughout early 2016, the United States, the European Union, and other world powers released a series of joint statements citing growing concern over China's respect for human rights. According to Reuters, the documents accuse the Chinese government of covering up disappearances, censoring opposition, and fostering a biased judicial system, among a slew of other violations. Human rights abuses have reportedly escalated in China since President Xi Jinping took office in 2014. So, what are China's human rights violations? Well, China is an authoritarian state ruled by a one-party system. As such, its government has historically valued state sovereignty over individual rights. In fact, China didn't even officially recognize human rights until the early 1990s, after the fallout from the Tiananmen Square democratic movement. One of their first major treaties, the White Papers, endowed all citizens with the rights to free speech and assembly, and specifically outlawed any media censorship. In total, the government has signed and ratified more than 20 international treaties on human rights. However, China has sidestepped many of these international norms, and the government's attitude on the matter has gone largely unchanged. In China today, the most frequent victims of human rights violations are critics of the government, like journalists, lawyers, artists, and activists. The state is known to harass, imprison, and even torture opposition members, in many cases without just cause. For instance, in 2015, the Chinese government arbitrarily detained or questioned more than 200 human rights lawyers and activists, who they suspected of undermining the ruling party. Experts say the crackdown was part of the state's larger effort to dismantle the rights defense movement, which is a group of intellectuals defending individual rights through legal action and activism. By the end of the year, 25 people were missing or in custody. China's human rights violations are often difficult to prosecute, as the country's legal system has been designed to limit individual rights. This was exemplified in 2015, when China drafted a series of laws that effectively silenced dissent under the guise of expanding national security. Among them is an anti-terror law that gives authorities sweeping powers to combat militants and separatists, including the right to monitor private communications. Critics of the law say its definition of terrorism is alarmingly broad, and could hinder freedom of speech and religion for China's religious and ethnic minorities. China has also introduced legislation that expands the state's power to regulate and monitor foreign human rights organizations. This is all under the backdrop of China's seemingly endless war against the internet. Although most of the Western web is already blocked under China's Great Firewall, the government does permit certain sites, albeit under tight supervision. For instance, in 2014, the state passed new regulations on China's primary social media site, WeChat, barring private users from sharing news, current events, or anything that undermined the socialist system. The state has since shut down millions of accounts that have not met those requirements. In an open letter to President Xi Jinping, Western powers cited these and other infringements on human rights as not only immoral, but harmful to China's own economy. They said the abuses have created a climate of uncertainty for investors, who are particularly important to China during its economic decline. But whether their concerns have any effect on the country's systematic human rights violations remains to be seen. And China's problems don't end at their border. Learn about some of China's controversies in regards to terrorism in Pakistan by checking out this video from our friends at China Uncensored.
The Pakistani government doesn't support terrorism. It's just that not everyone agrees on who's a terrorist. I mean, China calls this guy a terrorist.
Thanks for watching Seeker Daily. Don't forget to like and subscribe for new videos every day.